Growing up in Decatur, Georgia in the 1980s, racism was something that I had been sheltered from. I grew up in a loving home with parents who always taught me to love and respect everyone regardless of their skin color. It wasn't until the age of 10 that I truly experienced the ugly face of racism. It was supposed to be a fun day out with my uncle and 3 little cousins at the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. I was excited to see the animals and enjoy the show. But it didn't take long for me to feel uneasy. The way the animals were being mistreated and taunted left a bitter taste in my mouth. But that wasn't the worst part of the day. As we were leaving the circus, we stopped at Crystal's to get a chocolate milkshake. On our way back home, we encountered 2 German shepherds who were trying to attack us. We managed to jump on top of an old white car to escape them, but the dogs were persistent. As we were huddled on top of the car, the owners of the junkyard or car repair shop where the car was parked came out. They didn't try to help us or put the dogs away. Instead, they started beating us with broomsticks while the dogs continued to try to attack us. The pain of being beaten with the force of a broomstick handle was excruciating, but what hurt more was being called the N-word. It was a word that I had heard before but didn't truly understand its meaning until that day. My grandmother had told me that it meant a low-down and dirty person, and that's exactly how those people saw us. But amidst the pain and the hate, there were also heroes. 2 black men who were walking down the street noticed us being attacked and crying for help. They drew the concerns of other people, who stopped their cars in the middle of the street to help us. A lady took us across the street and called my aunt's house. My uncle came back to pick us up. And we were safe once again. That day left a deep scar on me. I couldn't understand why someone would hate me just because of the color of my skin. It was something that I had no control over, something that I was born with. I didn't want to believe that the world was such a cruel and unfair place. But as I grew older, I came to understand that racism wasn't just a one-time event in my life. It was something that millions of people faced every day. It was a systemic problem that had been ingrained in our society for centuries. And it was up to all of us to stand up against it. I learned that the heroes in my story weren't just the 2 black men who came to our rescue, but also the people who stopped their cars in the middle of the street to help us. It was the lady who took us across the street and called for help. It was my uncle who came back to pick us up. These were people who saw beyond the color of our skin and recognized us as fellow human beings who needed help. The moral of this story is that racism is real, and it can hurt people in ways that words cannot describe. But there are also heroes in this world who are willing to stand up against it. We must recognize and celebrate these heroes, and we must all work towards creating a world where racism has no place. We must teach our children to love and respect everyone, regardless of their skin color. We must educate ourselves and others about the dangers of racism and how it affects everyone. We must stand up against racist remarks and actions, no matter how small they may seem. My experience with racism was painful. A powerful poem, The Dark Cloud of Racism by Reuben White. Racism is a virus, a poison in our soul. A cancer that eats at us, taking its toll. It seeps through the cracks in our society's walls, infecting our minds, making us small. It judges on skin, on ethnicity and race. With hatred and prejudice it finds its place. It dehumanizes, devalues, and divides, pushing us apart with its venomous lies. Racism is a thief, stealing our empathy. It blinds us to the pain and the agony. It robs us of our humanity and compassion, replacing it with anger and aggression. It's a dark cloud that covers the sun, a shadow that blocks out all we've done. It taints our world with its ugly stain, leaving us broken, alone, and in pain. But we must fight, we must resist the hate, the fear, and the racist twist. We must stand together, hand in hand, and build a world where all can stand. A world where color is not a curse, where diversity is celebrated, not a hearse. Where love and respect are the norm. And unity is what keeps us warm. Racism may be a poison, but we hold the cure. We must find it, use it, and make it pure, for only then will we find true peace. And all our differences will finally cease.